Hey, what's up guys? Now over the last 8+ years, I have done hundreds and hundreds of scope videos. I picked out 10 that I think are perfect, at least perfect to me. They're all different price ranges. There's a lot of different scopes in here, and I'm also going to throw in a few honorable mentions. But before you start commenting, wait and see if your favorite scope is in this list. If it's not, list it below so other guys will see it, because I love making sure that guys, when they spend their hard-earned money on a scope, they're not wasting their damn money. All right, now this is one that's no longer being made, but it is a perfect scope, and anybody that has ever owned this scope will agree, and that's the Leupold FX3. Now this thing was available in 6 power, 12 power, and through SWFA, they had a version that was an 8 power. If you've ever owned one of these scopes, you know why it's on this list. It's lightweight, crystal clear, tracks like a Navajo warrior, tall turrets, locking eye focus. It is just an incredible scope. I've owned this scope in a lot of different configurations. As a matter of fact, I've probably sent 5 of them back to the Luold custom shop to have special reticles put in it. Now, while it's not available new, there's a ton of them out there on the used market. Go on eBay or wherever it is that you look for optics, and you can pick one up for a very reasonable price. And believe me when I tell you, when you compare this to a lot of other scopes that are on the market right now, it's hard to beat this damn thing. The FX3 by Leupold. Give it a look. If you've never had one, give one of these a look. Now this is one that is on the market right now that just came out a couple of years ago. I've owned every single version of this scope, and there are 4, and that's the Tract
2.5 to 15.
This thing comes in 2 different reticles in second focal plane and 2 different reticles in first focal plane. If you do nothing and spend your scope money on nothing but Tract optics from here on out, from the budget all the way up to the toric ELR, you've done damn good. But a combination, semi-long range, great hunting, huge field of view, a reticle that's illuminated depending on which version you get. And if you're one of these guys that has to have second focal plane, they got you. If you need first focal plane, they got that too. These are great scopes from a great company and no question warranty. If you're looking for a good hunting scope this coming year, whether it's a second focal plane or first focal plane, give this one a damn hard look. Now here's another one that's fairly new, but not really. That's the SWFA SS Gen 2 on purpose. The Gen 1s were some of the best budget scopes you could get in precision. It's all Japanese made. They sold forever for $300. On the Gen 2, you get the 2 fixes that most people that had a Gen 1 had a problem with. No zero stop. Check, they fixed that shit. And now it comes with 2 different sets of turrets. It comes with a tall set of turrets, very reminiscent of the old Leupold Target turrets that have a cover on it. And it also comes with the tactical type turrets that guys that are used to SWFA, that have had them before, are used to what they look like. The Gen 2 SWFA 10 power and 12 power at $350 for a full Japanese made scope that you talk about has a thoroughbred background. I'm not even going to go into the Navy SEAL contract that started these scopes. That's a very long story. But the Gen 2 SWFAs, don't miss them. They've got some other stuff coming. I know for a fact, I can't say what they are, but I do know they have some other revised scopes coming. And while we're talking SWFA, the Ultralight, it's really something to see. All right, now here's a blast from the past. These are the Weaver T24 and T36 target scopes. I have owned more of these than I can possibly try to list in blue and silver. As a matter of fact, I just got this one in yesterday. This is a T36 in silver. I bought it to put on some of my rimfire rifles. They have metal caps on the front and the back end to keep dust out. On the eyepiece, it has a locking ring on it. The turrets are tall, very tactile, they're capped, and something that it has that is a bonus on this scope that you find on very few scopes anymore, it also has a lock for the objective. So you can, once you get the parallax dialed out of the scope, you can actually lock it so you don't have to worry about it moving again. It is something you can depend on because there has been more bench rest records and long distance records set with this scope than possibly all the other target scopes out there combined. And if you know any bench rest shooters, you know you're not talking about a bunch of penny pinchers. They go with what works, and these absolutely work. All right, now this is the most expensive scope on the list, and to be very frank, I just got through doing a live stream about this exact topic. This is the best scope I've ever personally owned, and that's the Valdada Recon G2 Original. Now the G2 Mini is a badass also, but the Valdada Recon G2 is something that this man designed from the ground up. It's got a 40mm tube. It was the first scope to do that. It was the first scope to offer 150 MOA of internal adjustment. And trust me when I tell you, I know Val personally, the owner of this company. When he designed this scope, he went to Light Optical Works and had them design the very best scope that they could, the best thing they could make, the best O-rings, the best springs, the best internals. Everything was designed from the ground up to be the very best scope that Light Optical Works ever made. And only then did he set the price. He didn't go in there with a budget trying to cut corners. He went to Light to have them build the best scope that he could. And honestly, I've owned Schmidt-Bender, Zeiss, Kaws, Swarovski. I've owned a lot of really, really good scopes. This is still my favorite. Now, it's heavy as hell, and it's not a little bitty scope, but it has several things going for it that I really like. I never even get to take advantage of all of the internal adjustments that's in this scope, but the things that I love about it is the image. When you look through it, regardless of the magnification, the image is absolutely flat. There's no distortion of any kind. Then the reticle on it for a first focal plane is slightly larger than other reticles throughout its power range. Because it's slightly larger, it's also a little bit darker, and it's a hell of a lot easier to pick up with your eye. If you've ever used one of these first focal plane scopes that has the really thin reticle, after a while you'll start getting an eye strain headache just from trying to find the dot. With this scope, you see the dot easily. You just look at the target, put the dot on it, and let her fly. Now, this is probably the most unusual scope on this list that very few people have seen, and that's the GPO 7x50. Now, for guys that have never used a true fixed power European scope with a 4A reticle, you don't know what clarity actually looks like. With fixed power scopes, they have less lenses. The less number of lenses and the better the coating, the clearer the image is. You can pick up one of these 7x50 scopes at 100 yards and you can see 22 caliber holes in a white piece of paper easily. It's not because it magnifies so much, it's because the resolution is that damn clear. Now, GPO makes a hell of a lot of good scopes. Their 1.5 to 9 was hard to leave off this list too. But the 7 to 50 is something really special, especially for American buyers, because we don't have Schmidt-Bender and Zeiss, Swarovski, and these other companies that make some killer ass fixed power scopes. We don't have them importing them into the United States. This is something US residents can get, and this is something that will blow your buddies' minds when they see it at the rifle range. And it also has that rheostat type illumination, so there's no clicks in between it. You can run it all the way up to daylight bright, all the way down to pure black, and it is an outstanding ass scope. Now, I was reluctant to put this one on there because I'm actually an affiliate for the company. There's not going to be any codes or nothing else below that has to do with this. But this particular scope, I think, in my personal opinion, is really groundbreaking. And that's the Arken 7 to 35 by 56. Now, it's something they just came out with. I'm a fan of all the Arken scopes, but the 7 to 35 is a step above. Now, there are guys on the internet that say it's as good as the Night Force Attacker. That's bullshit. The Night Force Attacker is a $3,000 scope. We're talking about something that cost $800 before any discounts. But for $800 and what you get, it is a beast, an absolute beast. Now, this is the one and only, I guess you'd say, AR-15 scope that I've got in this list. And the reason it's in here is because of the excellent value for the combo. That's the Burus RT6 combo. You get a badass 1:6 scope, a really, really good cantilever mount, and you also get a little red dot that mounts on top of it. There's a lot of guys out there that are buying their very first rifles. They're getting their first AR. They're getting their first short rifle like that. They don't know where to go with optics. With this thing, you get all three. You get a red dot, you get a scope, and you get a mount. And all three of them are built really, really good. The price is right. And right now for the price, I just don't see anything on the market that can compete with it. The Leupold 3 to 9 EFR. If there's ever been a scope that is perfect for lightweight 22 and airgun hunting, it is this scope. Super lightweight, a very basic reticle, great glass, and it comes from a thoroughbred company. You can still find some out there with a gloss finish, and if you'll look around, you'll find guys like me that sent one off to the custom shop and had tall turrets put on it. All right, now what did I miss? What scope did I leave off? Because put it in the comments below. If you don't mind, you're not already subscribed, subscribe to my channel, hit the like button. I'm going to try to see if this makes any difference. I don't know if it does or not, but it's probably not going to hurt. But I do hope this helps you pick out a good scope, because these right here, every scope I mentioned on this list, in my personal opinion, if it's not perfect, it's that damn close.